Yes, Anu sir. You can drop in a comment. Yes, Mr. Rajaram sir is in USA visiting his son and grandson. I have been enjoying his photos from there.
Yeah.
I hope you are planning to meet Rajaram sir, or Rajaram sir is planning to meet you, Madhu sir. Okay, Priyank says planning for Bhutan in October, so we'll definitely need your all experiences from there from this meet. Yep. Okay.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Cool. Good. Okay, it's 5:36. Without further ado, let's begin for today's session. I'm excited about this session. One, it being the moment we hear about Nepal, the vastness, the Himalayas is what comes to our mind. And Himalayas is one place one should never miss visiting in their lifetime, right? I know one of the very known, renowned photographer from Hyderabad, Mr. Satyaprasad Yachandra. He keeps visiting Himalayas very often. As much as that, I think he has visited almost like 26 or 30 times now. And he's such a photographer that if he picks up his camera, it's in Himalayas. That's what Himalayas does to you. And I'm eager to know the stories, the images, the pictures from Prema Kakade's tour. Definitely. Let's see what perspective we have today in front of us. And without before going to today's presentation, a quick few announcements, important announcements. The very first thing, the next YPS Saturday meet is happening on 19th July. It is Framing the Invisible by Mr. Raghuram. It was supposed to happen a few weeks back. It got postponed, and then we have it happening next week. Something very interesting. It's about macro photography, extensive macro, I can say. So do not miss. It's happening on Google Meet. That's one. And the next is the frames, World Photography Day celebrations. August 19th is World Photography Day. And as part of the celebrations, we have our annual exhibition, Frames 2025. And this year's theme is Panorama, right? Something very different. We have always been working with regular formats like 12 by 18 and square. And this time we have, widen it to 12 by 36. So let's see how the exhibition hall looks with the panoramas on the wall. So the closing date is coming soon. So start registering and submit your images. You can submit your images till the end. So do not miss registering and start uploading your images soon. And another important announcement is YPS International Salon 2025. It is live. The last date for submission is 27 July. Go to the website salon.ypsbangalore.in. I have added that into the comment section. And this salon's sections are one is architecture, color, monochrome, and nature. So do go through the website and register and start uploading your best work. Yeah. So that's with the announcement part. Now let's head towards today's presentation, Nepal, the Himalayan Kingdom by the Prema Kakade. Okay, let me quickly introduce to you who Prema Kakade is if you do not know. Sarcasm unintended. Okay.
So, Hardik, shall I go ahead?
Yeah. Let me just hand it over to you. Yeah.
No, it's okay. I will speak. That's it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So as Hardik was already saying, if I ask you people in the audience, is there anybody who doesn't know Prema? I don't think any hand will come up. Everybody knows Prema. She is the current serving secretary. Oh no, Hardik, you cannot say that. You cannot raise your hand. Okay, so she is the secretary now of the of YPS, and in fact, she joined the EC executive committee of YPS in 2018 itself, and so she has been totally busy. She's been very busy doing all the things for YPS. So all the whatever you see, the output that is coming, she is mainly responsible for that. So if you see the broadcast coming from YPS, you see the messages are signed by Prema Kakade. And when she is able to make some time or take some time off from doing this work for YPS, she also manages to participate in salons, national and international. I don't think she's doing in many of those salons today, because those of you on the salon group will know that. But she has participated in a number of national and international salons in the past, and her works have been exhibited in more than 40 countries. And also, she writes articles, and her pictures have been published in different print media. But first things first, at heart, she is an artist. So, for those of you who don't know, I think this is public knowledge now, Prema. But she used to do these Batik paintings, Tanjore and Mysore paintings. So, for her, photography is an extension of this art form, but she also thinks that it goes much deeper. So it's a kind of meditative state for her. She got into photography in 2015, but her association with YPS happened in 2016. And in fact, within 1 year, her portfolio in art photography, it was awarded the best portfolio from the UP Lalit Kala Academy. And she also won the Karnataka Tourism Award in the same year. And as I said, she's been doing a lot of work for YPS. Plus, from the photography point of view, she's interested in all genres. She didn't mention street, but I'm sure that if you let her go in the street, you must have seen her pictures from Chitrasante and all these places. Maybe we will see some from Nepal also. I'm sure she'll be good at that also. So nature, wildlife, travel, whatever, she will do everything. She's been doing everything. And she's of course a tough taskmaster. Her follow through is great. So she will make sure that whatever work is done perfectly to the T. And in fact, she's been awarded the YPS Service Award in 2020. And those of you who have attended the FIP convention last year in March, Mysore, will know that she's been awarded the ESFIP from the Federation of Indian Photography, which is a very prestigious award. So now I mean, like, I could go on for hours about Prema, because I've been associated with her for quite a while. But anyway, I think all of you are dying to board the flight to Nepal, for which we've got free tickets. So let's go there. Be prepared for a visual treat. Prema, you can start.
So thank you, Anita. You know, you are the other angel among the three Kali's angels, as we were called. And this is really special for me being introduced by you. Of course, it was, well, I don't know if I deserve everything that you told about me, but still it feels good to be introduced by you. Thank you so much for, taking time off for this and doing the honors for me. And I also thank Hardik for starting the meet. And then, well, I really have got pampered by both of you today. Thank you.
Ma'am.
So now, if I may just, start with the presentation.
Before we begin
I
with the
had,
presentation, can you take a screenshot?
sure.
Okay. Folks, if
Yeah.
you can turn on your videos for a few seconds, we'll just take a quick grab, screen grab, and then we'll take the flight to Himalayas.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go to. And a very important announcement. The meet is being recorded. I would want everyone to know if it's being recorded. I have requested everyone to turn on their videos. Let me change the layout to tile.
I think you've got to say smile, Hardik, to give us a heads up on it.
Yeah, we have a lot of videos up. Yep, yep, I can see. Muti sir, yes. Okay. Shri
Yeah.
Vidya, thanks for turning on your videos. Kaushik, yep. Okay.
Okay.
Anyone who is yet to turn on their videos, be ready. If you're not able to turn on your videos, just smile. Like,
Yeah.
and ready. Three, two, one. Smile. Okay. Retake. Three, two, one. Smile. Okay. Perfect. Let me now pin the presentation back and okay.
Well, Hardik, this shows you've been doing a lot of events and portraits. Typical of you. That's nice. Yeah, thank you again. And to start with the presentation, like Hardik said, I'm so excited. This just presenting and going through these pictures makes me as excited as if I'm traveling to Nepal, which is one of my favorite destinations. One thing is I'm a mountain person. I love the mountains and the Himalayas. And Nepal is where, once you go to Nepal, you feel like you are in the Himalayas, surrounded by the mountains. And it's simply, I mean, every photographer, yes, it's a must. And we are so blessed that we have Nepal as a neighbor, not very far away, not difficult to travel to. So I'll be telling you the route and other stuff that we did take. Now, Nepal, as you all know, is in the Indo-Gangetic Plains as well as the Himalayas. Okay, so I have visited Nepal thrice. Once in the late 70s, that was when I wasn't doing any photography at all. And then in 2019, October 2019 was the second trip. And recently, October 2024 was the last trip that we did. So these 3 times, and the pictures are from both the last 2 times. So the route that we took was, you land in Kathmandu, and from Kathmandu, if you can see my cursor, we directly go over to Bhaktapur and stay there the night so that you finish Bhaktapur. That's about a half an hour's drive from Kathmandu, so it's not very far away. And from Kathmandu, you can go to a place called Bandipur and then Pokhara. From Pokhara, you can there are a couple of places close by, like one was Saranpur and the other one was a village called Astam. And from there to Jomsom. So from Jomsom, there's another place called Marfa and then to Muktinath. So on the way, of course, from Kathmandu, you can also do Chitwan. And then in the end, come back to Kathmandu, and that is where you can finish Kathmandu as well. So this was the route that is, from Kathmandu to the lower Mustang area is what I have traveled. Now, the first place, like I told you, from Kathmandu, drive down directly to a place called Bhaktapur. Now, Bhaktapur, as the name denotes, is there's so much bhakti in that city, I should say. The people are so religious. They are very, very, ritualistic, and there's a lot of devotion to the deities there. So Bhaktapur, when you go and stay there, you can see this building here. You see those upper floors are all where they have tea, not exactly tea houses, they're like homestays, and you can stay there on the street. So here what happens is early in the morning, the activities start, say at around 4 o'clock. So here in this picture, you see, there is a pot seller selling those matkas, where you get awesome dhai here, which is like this mishti dhai. But the dhai here is something special. If you go to Bhaktapur, don't miss out on having some dhai. Like I told you, they're very, very ritualistic, and there's a lot of, pujas which happen early in the morning at around 4. You hear people ringing well. They carry a plate with a little bit of rice, colored rice, and then there's some and just and then they start walking on the street, and all the streets are lined with little shrines. There are plenty of shrines, and there's also a lot of idols on the road itself. Now if you see this on the building outside, they have this idol. So people go from idol to idol, or from a little shrine to a shrine, doing arti. So all these things you can capture there. See, I'm not a very street person, in the sense that I find street photography pretty difficult, because for me, just pointing a camera to some stranger and taking that picture is difficult, unless it's far away or something like that. But here in Nepal, that's one thing I find very comfortable, because people aren't bothered if you're taking a picture, or they go about doing their stuff, and then you can go ahead and do your pictures. So here you see this lady coming out of one of the shrines, and you get plenty of opportunities like this. And all the shrines, they have elaborate doorways, and there's so much of architecture and sculpture. The stones, there's always sculpture on that. Wood, it's always carved. So plenty of opportunities in Bhaktapur to do street photography. And of course, you can do portraits as well. Now, Bhaktapur also has this square called Darbar Square. In fact, I would recommend that you stay in Darbar Square. There are inns there where you can stay in those places. They're very comfortable, very hospitable, good food, very nice. The advantage of staying here is this place, this Darbar Square, is where no photographer should miss out on, be it during the day or in the night. Through the day, you can do pictures here. There's so much of activity which happens. You can walk around and do. Of course, in this place, you have to be prepared for a lot of walk. So this is again the same place, but this was done late in the evening, almost in the night, I think. So, you can try your slow shutter speeds and, different kinds of photography here. I guess you can also do some start trails, but I'm not very sure how safe it is, because generally the country is very safe. But then, if you are in a group, then it should be okay, I guess. And if anybody has any question, I think one of you can, I don't know if Hardik is moderating or Anita, you can stop me and then ask questions. Now, this is also the same place, like I told you, from morning till night, you can continue doing your pictures. And this was also on a full moon night when we happened to be there. So you could get this picture as well, with the moon right on top of the steeple there. This complex has many temples. So you can just walk around and take pictures. Either it can be a wide angle picture, or you can do, you can zoom in and do so. This is one place, Nepal, I would say it requires lens from wide angle from 10 to 500. I carry everything here because you can use all the lenses. In the same place, one of the temples, I saw this, what we call, that holy water which comes out of this ground. So I was so fascinated with this. Just look at the, carvings, look at the workmanship on that. There are so many animals. There's so much work, I think they were very artistic people, I feel. So, I feel this great connect with the country because of all that art which is there. Now, there are also, this nice structures which you can photograph. Now, the picture you see on the left is called as Natyapola temple. It's dedicated to Siddhi Lakshmi. So, of course, you have this stairs from where if you climb up, and you can also put a good view, do some pictures right from the top as well. And then the statue is of Bhupatendra Malla, one of the kings of the earlier times. Now, this picture is from the other side of, all this time I was showing you the picture from, if you see the structure from the other side, from behind this. Now, as you walk up, you come to this place, and this is a panorama that I've done. So there are there's so many, every few feet you will find some beautiful structure that you can take, as you can click it by itself, or you can do panoramic pictures as well over here. Now from Bhaktapur, you can spend minimum of at least, I feel, one night and one day. But then, we went back, we did that on the first trip. Then the second trip, we also wanted to spend time there again, because I don't think you can cover the whole city in 1 or 2 days. But then, we all have a time constraints. So I guess you should go with some idea of what you're going to do, what kind of pictures you're going to do, and stick with that. So then from Bhaktapur, you directly drive down to a place called Bandipur. Don't mistake this name for a forest like what we have here in Karnataka, Bandipur. This is not a forest, but it's a quaint little town. So the drive here is, though it's only 157 kilometers, it takes more than 5 hours, 6 hours, because the roads are bad. Last, when they had the flooding and all that, a lot of roads were ruined, and they still haven't been done up. So it takes time for you to drive. So accordingly, you'll have to plan. And Kathmandu also, if in case you leave late and you get stuck in the traffic in the city, then again, it extends the timing. So, you will have to check all these things and then take a call. So Bandipur, this is Bandipur. So it's a small little town. It's up on the hill, and there's mainly one main road, which is the center of attraction in the city. And you stay on this. Now at the ground level, you see all hotels and, eateries, and inside they have places where you can stay. So they're very comfortable rooms, and the food here is simply out of the world, because they cater to all, it's to international tourists. So, you get very good food. And the view from the room is of the valley. So that again is such a picturesque sight to see. So, you can just spend your time in the room. On this side, you can look down into the street, and on the other side, you look down into the valley. The same place in the evening converts to this scene. There are people sitting, it's all lit up, and there's so many people walking around. They're doing their pictures. Some of them, they're dancing around, and it's a happening place. So a lovely place to go. And, just spend a night or two over here. And in this place, you can also do a little trek. It's just about half an hour's climb. And though the steps are very uneven and in places the steps are very high. And but of course you can still, all the photographers, we're all hardcore. We tend to do these climbs with whatever, with a smile on our face, I should say. So once you go up here, you can see some people right at this edge. So, if you go there, you get a 360-degree view. So one side is on the left, the sunrise happens and the sunlight falls on the mountains to the right. So if it is a clear day, you get beautiful pictures of the mountain. Otherwise, it's all covered in mist. But this place, of course, should not be missed, this trek up this place. And I think this is, it's just a viewpoint. There's a temple there. I think it's called as Thanimai Temple viewpoint. So on a clear day, this is what you see. So the sunrise happens on the left, like I told you, and on the right-hand side, you see the ranges, Himalayan ranges, snow-covered peaks. Of course, you can get the pictures of the town, also of the Pandipur town from here. It's a beautiful place. So from Pandipur, what we do is drive down to Pokhara. Pokhara, I think most of you know about this place because it's one of the tourist destinations. A lot of people do Kathmandu, Pokhara, and then, they're back. So Pokhara is, again, a short drive, 2 hours, 10 minutes from Bandipur. And in Pokhara, there are places, but there's one place, and this picture is taken from a place called Fishtail Lodge. So this belonged to the royal family, which has now, it's in an island in this lake, Peva Lake. It's in the island. And the palace has been converted to a hotel, where you can go and stay. And from there, the view is simply awesome because you're right in the middle of the lake. And then, to come to the lake, there's a ferry. So you always cross over in the ferry and then you cross over to the mainland also. There's plenty of places to stay even on the mainland. But the view from here is something. So you see the Fishtail Mountain from here. You can see that triangular peak in the picture. That's the Fishtail Mountain. So on clear days, you will be able to see it. And there's some Rudraksha trees here. So we collected a lot of Rudraksha berries and brought it back home. And the specialty of Nepal Rudraksha is the hole is already there in it. So once you clean up the seed, you don't have to make a hole. It's already present in the Rudraksha seeds. So from Pokhara, there's one, a viewpoint called, this is the Sarangkot viewpoint. Sarangkot, you have to go there very early. Again, there's a short trek, about half an hour's trek that you have to climb up. But there's plenty of people who come up here for the sunrise session. And then, so you have to go there early. You have to start when it is still dark, carry a torch and climb up to get a good, to get a good spot for pictures. So this is called Sarangkot. Beautiful with the sunlight, you can see the sunrise as well in the valley. And when the sun rays hit the Fishtail Mountain, which you see here, it's something to behold. This is also Sarangkot. So here you see the Annapurna range. And so from Pokhara, there's another short distance drive to a place called Astam Eco Village. So Astam is again on a hilltop. You have to drive. It takes a lot of time. It took us more than 46 minutes, though it's a 24-kilometer stretch. It definitely did take us more time. And this is mainly used by trekkers who go trekking. They use this as a pit stop for overnight stays. But this is one place I think it's not only for trekkers but for photographers also. What is what I discovered, our travel guide and our travel agent from Nepal has done lovely this one of choosing the places for us. And of course, Madhu does a lot of research. He does his own research. And then, he zeroes in on these places. So this place, Astam, as you're driving to that resort, you pass through rice fields. They're growing rice there, and in some places they were also growing ragi. So the time when we went, it was time for harvest. So, it was all golden. And then, so this is from the resort itself. And from your balcony, you see the mountains and you see the valley also. So here you don't have to just step out of the room also. You just stay in the room or just step out of the room, and then you can do the pictures through the day. A couple of days here is something, because sometimes, if it is cloudy, you may not see the mountain at all. So you have to give that 1 day buffer time, so that if in case you don't happen to see the mountains in that day, at least you should have. And you can't go and extend the stay here because this place is always booked. So you have to book well in advance. So this was the sunrise happening, and you get very good layers of the mountains. Now, this is a very peculiar picture. Like what I said, I was standing in the balcony and I wanted to get the sunrise, the first sun rays hit the mountain peaks of the Fishtail and the Annapurna ranges. But then the clouds, well, they wouldn't let go. So the mountain peaks were not seen at all. So I was all prepared, I wanted to take some closer pictures with big, my 500, I had mounted it, and then I was waiting, nothing was happening there. And then I happened to look into the valley, and here I saw the sun coming up, and then, this thunderbolt like rays, the clouds lighting up like that. So immediately, I use only one camera body, but at that time I had to. So immediately I did take some pictures of this sunrise, leaving the mountains alone. Did the valley. So you can see the valley also on the right-hand side. So you have to be prepared with all kinds of lenses, like I told you. Now, once the clouds clear, you will be able to really zoom in and take pictures. This must be at around 300 mm, I guess. So that is how close you are to the peaks. So from the balcony, yes, as the sun rays hit the mountains. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the Dhaulagiri peak. This picture was, like I told you, that I was looking out for the sun rays to hit the mountains, and then I saw I had to do the valley. So after some time, what happened? The clouds were near the resort. So the clouds, the black clouds that you see, were right on our face, I should say. Whereas at the mountains, it was all clear. So whenever there was a little gap in the clouds which were passing by, I could get this picture. So I somehow like this because of the clouds in the foreground, and then, the clear mountains in the background. So when the sun rays hit the mountains, you get very good golden peaks. Now, this is the Annapurna range that you see. So now those clear days when you can get to the sun on the snow-covered peaks. Now this is a close-up, went all the way up to 500, and I took the Annapurna, as you can see the thick sheet of ice and this one. So full time, what you do is you keep taking pictures there and then drinking tons, gallons of green tea because it's cold, really cold up there. And it's a nice resort and nice this one to stay in. Here's another close-up of the mountain ranges. So I love doing this close-up shots also because it gives so much of, you see the structure of the snow-covered peaks, and you see the, you know, how thick the snow is. Now, from this is all this is from the balcony of the cottage where we stayed. So you see the fish tail peak in the background, and then you see the other mountain ranges in the foreground. Now, on the left-hand corner, you see a little village over there. Just imagine how lucky those people are to stay in that green area. This village, you see, get the early morning rays hit the village. And I don't know if I should call it a village, whatever. It's a small little town. And I think it'll be a very good idea to go and even stay there. So that's something. I don't know what the view will be from there, but it looks very good from here. And the same village zoomed in at 500. This is how it is. So, you see the neat buildings over there, and how nicely it is. It kind of blends with everything. You don't see these 100 different kinds of things there. I mean, the buildings. So now this again was when the fishtails moves, different moves, you can capture the peak in. This was the clouds were a little below and the peak was seen. So this also must be again at around 250 or 300 mm, because at 500 you get just the peak, the top portion of the peak. Now from Astam, you come back to Pokhara, and either you can drive down to a place called Johnson to go to the Lower Mustang area. So either you drive, which is around 5 hours plus drive, or you can take a flight from here. The flight from here, I think, is worthwhile taking because, again, you're flying low and you're flying among the mountains, and you can do pictures from the flight. But the only thing is here, the flights are in the morning, and provided the weather is clear, then the flight operates. Otherwise, you may have to stay a day extra in Johnson. Now, this is the airport at Pokhara. It's a small airport, and small flights take off from there. Very simple, it reminded me of our own Bangalore airport, where there wasn't much of security check, where there's people security, they just put their hand inside the suitcase and then check if there's something, that kind of a simple this one, and then all the luggage is brought on along with you over there, and then it's loaded onto the flight. But one thing here is you're not allowed to take big suitcases, so you'll have to take, you have to go prepared with a smaller, say a duffel bag or something with which you can take your luggage. So you may have to leave your big suitcases in the place where you're going to come back to anyway, to Pokhara, so you can leave it in the same hotel where you stay. So this was from the flight from Pokhara to Johnson. So, I was able to get this other aircraft also flying alongside, and got this shot from the window of the aircraft. And this is where you land. This is Johnson. This place, you see the row of houses on the right. Just behind that is the airport. So, you just walk across the lane, and then you come to this street where all the places, the tea houses are there where you can stay back. Either you stay the night there or you drive directly. But what we chose to do was we landed here, and immediately from the airport itself, we started our trek to a place called Kathmandu. So from Johnson to Kathmandu is a 11-kilometer trek along the river Gandaki. It's a beautiful trek, not very difficult at all. So even from Kathmandu to Muktinath also you can trek, but that is a more difficult trek. So we had chosen this simpler one. Of course, no trek is as simple as that. the way we talk, because this again, you climb up and climb down to the riverbed and all that you have to do. And the trek, the one thing is that you have to finish the trek by lunchtime. You have to reach Karbeli by 1:30, 2 o'clock, because once the winds pick up speed, then there's a lot of dust storm and it's very, very risky to walk along. So you can take a porter to carry your bag as well, but of course your camera bag is on you. So we walked along the river. Madhu, myself, and another friend had accompanied us. So when this is the route of the trek, you can see some people with the bags. They're all trekking. There are many people trekking solo also. The river wasn't very. It was quite okay for us to walk along the river bank, because at that time there wasn't much of a flow also. So on this, when you walk, we were told that you get a lot of these saligramas, those stones with what you call the fossil stones, and they also worship that. So, we were so enthusiastic. Along with the backpack, we carried about a couple of kilos of these saligramas we picked up, and then, put it in the backpack, and we carried it on our way to Muktinath. And then after we reached there, we felt very guilty for having displaced those stones, which have taken millions of years to form fossil rocks. Then on the way back, we put it back in the river. So we did this thing of carrying it on our back and bringing it back to the riverbed. This is another part. Sometimes, like I told you, you'll have to climb up, and then there are narrow paths going along the river where you trek. And then on the way also, you can do a lot of pictures. But there's never enough time for us to do pictures. This was while walking. I managed a few pictures, though every time, the guy would turn back and say, hurry up, hurry up. This place is Kakbeni. You see the buildings there? That's the little village of Kakbeni, where you stay overnight before carrying on to Muktinath. So Kakbeni, as you're walking, you find a lot of these shepherds. I think we had been there in October. So, you find a lot of shepherds bringing their sheep down from the upper Mustang area. So you meet them, walking on the way with their sheep. So you can do all those pictures as well, plenty of those pictures. And then, this place also, once you go and settle down in the tea houses, inside the tea house, you can do pictures, because it's beautiful. Of course, this is very cold and the rooms are very basic here, and the food is also basic. They just give you, there's no heating and all that. So you have to carry your warm clothing. Even in the room, there's no heating. There's just a bed and this one. And for the food, you come down to a dining area, which is the warmest place. So, everybody, all the travelers gathered there. So you get to interact with so many different people, and then you can sit there and do gallons of hot tea, and then, interact with people, have your food. And then the next morning, you can either start your trek to Muktinath or you can drive. So here, like what I told you about the shepherd. So, they were coming down from the river bank. They also do the same route as we do, the trek. So lovely, all these goats with their colorful coats. So they're not just the black or the white. You have them in all kinds of colors with a lot of wool on them. And after reaching Kakbeni, what we did was we just put our stuff there. It was around 3 o'clock or so. I had a quick bite of food and then went off outside, to just walk around, because it was going to be sunset time. So, you could get some pictures of this thing. The only thing is you need a guide, because, he'll know how to take you around for a trek. And then, on the way during the trek, I got some pictures. Here's another one. as the sun sets. You can, take pictures like this. Plenty of opportunities to get the mountains. And it was a tough job for me to select few pictures so that, I don't overload you with all the pictures and bore you to death. Okay, so from Kathmandu, what we did, we stayed there overnight and then we decided to take a vehicle. So here you can't take your own vehicle. So, there are shared jeeps. So you share a jeep with plenty of other people. And then from Kathmandu, you go to a place called Rani Pawa. So here during the drive also, it's simply awesome. How I wish we could have, see, maybe if we have a big group and have the Jeep for ourselves, we can stop in places and do a lot of pictures. But since we're only three and we had a shared this one, and I wasn't aware at that time, the first time, so from the Jeep, you can't take any picture because the roads, like I told you, are very bad. You just have to hold on to dear life so that you don't fall off from the vehicle. So after you reach Muktinath, that Rani Pawa village, you have kind of dharmashalas, like places where you take a room and stay. And this is also all very basic. The ground floor will have the dining hall and 3 floors of rooms, so basic rooms with 2 single cots and nothing else, with some tiny bathroom. And here also it is very, very cold. Almost, I think it was minus temperatures. And there are no lifts, so you'll have to climb with your gear. You'll have to carry your stuff and climb up, and then climb down 3 flights for your food. And hot water is also not available in the rooms because they depend on solar energy and it's mostly clouded. You don't get hot water, but you can buy a bucket of hot water. When you ask for a bucket, you get about a quarter bucket of hot water, which you mix and you can manage to, if you're brave enough to stand the cold, yes. And this trek from the place, where you see all these places, here, this is where you stay, and then you start your trek from this arch here. It's about a half an hour's gradual trek, not very difficult, and you can take your time. There's no hurry at all, having to reach in time at this time or that time. So, on the way you can do pictures, you can uh, climb up the mountains. So here, this is again on the way, I managed to get these, because when you see some of these monasteries, so you can visit or you can take pictures. This is the temple of Muktinath. Now the temperature here was, I think, -5. Cold. And, you see these 2 little water bodies in front. So there are a lot of local people also, very aged people also who trek up and come to this temple because it's one of the very important pilgrimage site, even for us Hindus. Muktinath is one of those dhams. So you have a lot of pilgrims who come and a lot of locals also. So what they do is they take a dip in this and then they go around behind the temple. Around, surrounding the temple, there are 108 spouts from which water from the glaciers is always flowing out. And people go under those 108 spouts also for a bath and then they visit the temple. Well, we were not brave enough. We couldn't do that. We tried to just take a little water with the hands and sprinkle over our head. Even that was quite a difficult thing for us to do. And I have a picture here. You can see the spouts and, the local population. They just walk around for a bath before visiting the temple. And from that height, also, you can just walk around a lot and you can do a lot of pictures of the surrounding mountains, with layers. And then there are villages, we were able to see this village from that height. And so I've taken a lot of pictures with zoomed in like this, and also wide angle shots where you get a lot of the ranges and then the plenty of small little places. And when the morning light hits the villages, that's the best time to do these pictures. I guess if you're okay and if you're going to stay there overnight, in the evening also you can climb up and try your different perspectives. Now this place also you can trek up to this cafe where there's a Buddha statue. And then from there it will be a different view. From here again, it's again a different perspective. This on the way to the temple, you can go to the viewpoint. Now, after you do Muktinath, you again come back to Kathmandu and then back to Johnson. So Johnson is where you would have either you can, take the flight back to Pokhara, or again you drive down. But since we were taking a flight back to Pokhara, we had some time at Johnson. So our guide said that there was a very nice village close by called Marfa, which is an apple growing area. And he said we could take the local transport and go there. So we said, yeah, sure, why not? So we took a local bus, and that bus journey was an experience in itself. The bus had all village people, they had their hens, they had goats, they had their luggage, right from the cooking gas cylinders, everything. And then we are sitting in that. And then it so happened that I was right next to the driver, right in front of the windscreen. And when this bus we were driving, it was really scary because there's no roads. You just cross the streams. It's only rocky area, and then it's a very rickety bus. And on one side is the sheer drop of the mountain. It's a scary drive, but it was so adventurous, I should say. It was the most beautiful bus ride I've ever taken. So here, again, this one at Johnson, the mountain view. You can never get enough of the mountains. Now, after we reach Johnson, like I told you, Marfa is very close by. Take that. And now let's have a look at some of the pictures in Marfa. If I knew about Marfa earlier, I think I would have chosen to stay there for a night. Now, as they drop you off on the road, and then you have to walk a little to go to the village. This is the site which hits you. All these houses blending into the mountain ranges, and you really wonder how this, houses are being held up with all those poles kept there for support. And well, there are people living in those places. See this? How this house is held up. I don't know if any of us would be brave enough to go and stay there, but then there are people. And right on top, you see some of those stone structures. They are the burial grounds. So people trek up there to bury the bodies. And this is really high up. I really don't know how they managed to do that. But to this place, in this place here, we did see some ponies going up. Now, this is when you enter the village. You have these mules which carry everything, and no vehicles can go in. So but there were some two-wheelers. Otherwise, it's only ponies and it's only by walk. The red building that you see, there is one of the monastery which is up there that you can visit. These are the streets in Marfa. Very neat town, and all the buildings are built with these rocks and painted white, and the rooftops are all lined with wood. And this was the way to the monastery. So very quiet town, and there are very nice restaurants where you get good meals of the local food. And the best apple pie I have ever eaten was in this place. This is an apple growing area, and if you go here, don't miss out on the apple pie. So this is one of the shops where this lady was selling some, whatever they produce locally. They lit all these caps and shawls and all that. And very neat place. You just keep walking. Here again. So this is how broad the road is. It must be around, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 feet across from wall to wall. So all you do is walk along this one. They have a lot of guest houses. A lot of trekkers do come and stay here. So it's all very well kept, very nice and very hospitable people also. That was a guide and the friend walking there as they were doing. And she went crazy about the apples over there. Yeah, I was quite curious to see, all those wood log lined rooftops. So I walked up onto the roof and amazed to see every rooftop is lined with wood, like these wooden logs. And this keeps it warm also, I guess, and they use it for their firewood. Now, on the flight back from Johnson to Pokhara, again, take a window seat, and then you can do a lot of these pictures from your aircraft window. They're all small aircrafts and they fly pretty low, and very few people also. I think the maximum they take is 15 or 18 members, something like that. And this I was told by our tour operator, this is called as the Nilgiri mountain, I believe. So a lot of connection, between our Nilgiris like Bandipur and Bandipur there, and Nilgiri mountain here and over there also. So I just love the structure of the mountain. So took this picture from the flight. This was also from the aircraft of the valley. This is the river which is flowing. And we can do a lot of pictures of the valley as well. And this was done when there were no drones. So once when I tried to, very few drones were there. I tried to submit this picture in one of the salons, and then, I got a notice saying that drone pictures aren't allowed. I told them, no, this was done from an aircraft. Then they said, no, the jury may not realize that and it may get rejected. So now, of course, drone pictures are allowed. So that's a different story. This again was from the aircraft of the mountainsides and the valley. So plenty of opportunities. You get very good pictures of the mountain layers of the mountains also from the aircraft. So now from Pokhara, we drove down, but we stayed in a place called Summit River Lodge. This one is the river takes a kind of a U-turn, and in the middle there's a very beautiful lodge, but it's not photographers, this one, because there's no view from there. If you just want to relax and have a good time, that's the place to stay in. Otherwise, what you can do is you can drive down directly either back to Kathmandu, but we chose to visit Chitwan this time because wanted to see that part of the forest as well. Though we were told that there's no sighting that happens except for the rhino. So we did drive down to Chitwan, and then after we reached there in the afternoon, we decided to just take a walk. And in the village, we have to drive down a little, and then as we were walking, we saw them husking the paddy over there. So this was a good opportunity to do some of these pictures, where the man throws up the paddy and then, they fan this and to remove the husk. So did a lot of these pictures also before we walked further up. And as long as you don't talk to them or disturb them or ask them to pose and all that, they are fine you doing pictures. So this was when we took safari, a jeep safari. We did one jeep safari and one elephant safari over there. During the jeep safari, we saw the rhino in the water. This was a 4-year-old rhino, I was told, still very young. It was in the water, and rhinos, they give you a lot of time, they are not bothered. But that was the only sighting. Otherwise, you don't. Of course, we saw a couple of deers, but not for a picture, this one. But one thing is, I think doing the elephant safari there is worth it, because you don't do this kind of safaris in India. In India, the elephant safari also, they take you on a track. They don't take you into the forest as such, Earlier, I believe they used to take you in Kaziranga, within those grass fields. But even in the grass fields, they have a path. Not so here in Chitwan. There is no track. So the elephant goes where it wants, the convoy of elephants. So before you even go into the forest, you have to cross this river here. So the elephant goes into the water, and then somebody decides to stand there and have a drink. So you have to wait patiently, and then it has to climb up. So it's a very rough elephant ride. So here's the convoy that we were with. So 4 people on the elephant back. And it's a very tough this one. It's difficult to do the pictures also because, like I told you, it's a very uneven terrain. You can see this, you can see how slushy that the area is, and look at the elephant also, so every time it steps, you're shaking from the right to the left. So catching hold of your camera, you don't want to drop your camera, and then with one hand holding on to that, you don't want to fall off also. So that's quite a task anyway. But here pictures you can do of the other trekkers because there's no sighting as such, but it's a beautiful this one, right through the forest. So Chitwan was just overnight. Chitwan, there are plenty of very posh resorts where you stay with good food, and there is no dearth of places to stay. And so from Chitwan, we drove back this time to Kathmandu. So this was our stop at Kathmandu now, because on the way first we drove to Bhaktapur and started from there. So now it is Kathmandu. So at Kathmandu, of course, we all are aware of the 2 stupas, the 2 very famous stupas. So this is the Swayambhunath stupa, which is beautiful, which gives you a lot of opportunities to take pictures from different angles when you go around and take pictures. And the thing here is, the eyes on the stupa is supposed to denote Buddha's eyes, the eyes and eyebrows, but the nose that is painted on the stupa here, the nose, I'm told, is the number 1, the numerical 1 in Nepal. So that is put up as the nose. So this is a wider view of the stupa. So plenty of opportunities to do pictures here also, because there are a lot of Buddhists who come, and who goes around the stupa and with their prayers. And lots of opportunities. And here you can use the wide angle lens. Extra wide is very helpful. Now in Kathmandu, there's a river flowing, which is called as the Bagmati River. So this river flows within the city, and this is where the cremation ghats are also situated. So before you even go here, there's a place where there are lots of little temples and shrines where you can do a lot of pictures, and then that is the place where you have this this mendicant sitting there. They are very well known. I have removed the picture from here because I thought there are too many. So these guys pose for you, of course, for money. So if you want to do portraits of them, you just pay something, and then they'll pose for you. Otherwise, you can do some pictures. You can even see the temple from here. So the Pashupatinath temple, but you only see a part of it. At Pashupatinath temple, photography is not allowed, so you can't even take your cameras. From here, you see a portion of the temple. That's about it. But if you're interested, you can do the picture of the ghats. So here again, from the bridge, you can walk across. This is from the back entrance to Pashupatinath, but there's a different entrance in the front where you go directly to the temple and you can walk back here. So this picture is done on the bridge, which connects both the portions. So again, you see a lot of cremation happening here. This place is little known even among the locals. Very few people. In fact, the first time, when we had gone in the 70s, we had visited this place. That was from college. We had visited this place. So when we visited in the next time in 2019, we wanted to visit. When we asked our guide about this place, he didn't know. So then we had to depend on the Google map, and we did go to this place. This is called as Budanilakanta Temple. So this is in the open, this one. What they believe is that this statue, it's a huge statue of Vishnu in a lying down position. They say this is floating in the water. But of course, there has been no scientific this one for this. But the only thing they know that it is a very light rock. It is something like this volcanic rock. I think it's also called as a basalt stone or silica based stone, which has very low density like that of the lava rock. So it's a huge this. And here you find the monks, they go, they pour water, wash, and then they do a puja, and then there are a lot of people coming and offering their puja. So there is nothing other than it's a short drive from the city. So if you're interested, yes, this can be done. In Kathmandu itself, well, within the city, if you're keen about shopping, then there's this place called Thamel where you get all trekkers, boots, souvenirs, everything. Even if you don't do any shopping, it's worth going because that area itself is so good for just a stroll. You can visit the cafes. And of course, you have plenty of places where you can even have dinners, where they have little shows in the dinner places, the dance show and other stuff. And you can even taste the local rice wine and local food in these places. Plenty of places in Kathmandu like that. But for photography and other stuff, this is a place called Patil or Lalitpur. So this was the old capital of Nepal. And the Kumari tradition, the Kumari lives here in this part of the city as well. And the tradition is still carried on there. And here also, this is called the Darbar Square, and this is as well, this Darbar Square and the one you saw in Bhaktapur, they are both the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Both of them are. So you find a lot of people, a lot of structures here where you can, plenty of opportunities for all kind of photography. Now, these two places, again, just to show you, see this, the one on the left is all wooden structure, so intricately carved. So you can do pictures of each pillar also that way. So this is something you can spend a lot of time here. The one on the right is also a temple in the Golden Temple in Patan. Again. Well, this is also different, temples or small little palaces that you find in Patan. Just look at the doorways, how elaborate they are. So, in fact, I have a lot of pictures only of the doors from Nepal. So, you can do only the doors, you can do only the windows, or only the arches, or only these, you see these columns which support the upper portion of the roofs. So even those have such fine carvings that you can do pictures only of these. So plenty of opportunities like this in Patan as well. Now this was Rani's Bath in Patan. Beautiful place. You could walk up onto the first floor as well, and from those windows you could just look at each of the carved windows has different kinds of carvings as well. So require a lot of time, plenty of time. And this is a close-up of the bath. You see the spout there. I've looked at quite recently water used to flow out of that, but I've never seen water flowing out. And just look at the carvings, of the deities all around. And on the lower level, there's a snake which is carved. We also went and visited the Kumari at that time. Now, this is the other stupa in Kathmandu. This is called as the Muktinath stupa. So you can go up here also. This is also a very sacred place for the Buddhists. And this also gives you plenty of opportunities to do pictures, especially against the sun, where you can get the star effect of the sun, and you can get these flags also in different perspectives as well. So, yeah, that's about. And you see the valley down, the Kathmandu from the stupa. So I can take up any questions that come up now and can be done soon. Can I stop sharing now? So I'll stop sharing now so that, if there are any questions, I can take it up. Yeah.
Yeah, the microphone is on for everyone. Yes.
Hello, Prema. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
If you can identify yourself.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
it's
Venkat here.
Venkat.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, yeah.
A wonderful presentation. Thank you. And it made me recollect your presentation, which you gave on the same topic, I think, in 2020 at the beginning of lockdown, where you had just come back
Yeah.
a few months before from Nepal. Yeah, so those photos, I mean, it's kind of competitive as to which was better, those set or this set. But a wonderful presentation. Again, we could see the whole view this time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So one thing about that presentation, Venkat, I would like to tell you, during the lockdown, so we wanted to start with the webinars. Initially, we did not start with the webinars because well, we were waiting for the lockdown to be lifted so that we can have our hall programs again. But then, since it wasn't happening, we wanted to have a webinar, and then we had asked so many people to give a presentation, but nobody was prepared. And since this was going to be the first time on StreamYard, and it was going to be a first this thing for us, that time Hardik, Vikas and myself. The three of us got together and we did a little bit of, experimentation, dry run. And then I had to go through the presentation so many times to bring it down to that 1 hour, exactly 1 hour, 1.5 hours where I want to give. Since nobody came forward, I said, okay, I will do it. And then I gave that presentation. So it holds a lot of sentimental value for me, the first one also. Glad you brought it up because I had forgotten about that. So this is the story about the first presentation. Yeah, you had anything else to say, Venkat? Any questions for that?
No, that's it. I don't want any. I don't have any specific questions because the explanation you gave was so self-explanatory. Thanks anyway. I felt I was in Nepal with you, and
Thank
Madhu, of course.
you.
Yeah. Thank-
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Priyank has raised a hand. Priyank, you can unmute and then ask me whatever you want to. Go ahead.
Hello, am I audible or how is it?
Yes, yes, sir, you are audible.
I'm not well, but still I saw your presentation. It was very nice. I
Oh.
just want to ask you some of the blues which you get, very, very rich blue. Are you using a polarizer there or what are you doing? A second question, straight away. You have to convert you have to work in Nepali rupee there or you have to work in Indian rupees there or dollars?
Okay. So for the first question regarding filter, I don't use anything, but polarizer, yes. For all my landscapes and this one, I always use a polarizer.
Mhm.
But even without a polarizer, see, the pollution is very less there. The skies are very blue.
Mm,
So, by this one default, you will get very good. If there are no clouds, you will get a beautiful blue sky. But
mm,
if there are clouds, of course, you know that. And then regarding the currency, the first time we went, we could use rupees. But this time when we went, they wanted only Nepali currency. They did not even accept Indian rupees earlier. And another thing is, they do not, even with the rupees, they used to accept only 100 rupees, not 500 rupee notes. So the best thing for you to do is go and convert. You can take dollars and go, or you can take Indian rupees and go and then convert to Nepali currency. Because in Bandipur, especially, we wanted to have some tea and this one in one of the other restaurants. They do not accept Indian currency. So it's best for you to carry Nepali currency. You can convert how much ever you want. Dollars, you can convert anywhere. Rupees also in certain places, that place you convert in the airport.
mm. And Prema, how much does it cost a trip like which you have described just now? What is the cost of the trip?
It doesn't really cost too much. It all depends on the kind of accommodation you take, the season, and of course, you have to book well in advance. It's not like one of those Eastern Europe trips or anything. It's much more less than that.
Mhm.
And another this thing is we have very good connect over there who does these trips for us. So he gives us the best rates. And this time I've told him that we would like to do a trip for YPS this October season.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then we'll work on that.
Yeah, we would love to do that. Yeah.
Yes, because I feel, well, I don't see a lot of photographers from here who have gone there and done this kind of extensive this one. Now that this, our he knows what kind of pictures we require and what kind of guides we require. We will do a photography tour for YPS. So be on a lookout for that.
Okay, Prema, thank you very much. Very nice presentation.
Thank you. Thank you for attending, though you are not well.
No, your presentation is a must for me.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
I'll
thank you.
take up some questions that came up in the chat. Madhur
Sure.
Badrinath and Minu Kejriwal both have similar questions. What is the best time to visit Nepal for photographers?
Yeah. So Nepal, best time to visit, I would say, is from March to May is one season, or September to November. But when I say September, if Dasara happens to be in September, don't go during Dasara, because Dasara is a very important festival for them. Everything is closed, and there are a lot of rituals which happen. They are a very ritualistic country, so there's a lot of sacrifices which happen. And if you cannot, stand that kind of thing, it's best to avoid. And September it should be avoided, because what are you going to do if most of the places are closed, if most of the houses where you stay are closed? So it's best to do it after Dasara. Between Dasara and Diwali would be a good place. Of course, then you will have little clouds. But March and May I haven't done, so that's another season, they say.
Priyank has a sorry, somebody was asking a question.
Priyank has, I don't know if he has, well, I think he has,
He has quite a few questions.
I see, okay.
Some of them specific to some of the pictures, but a general question from him was, in landscape, where should be the focus point?
In the sense, focus point.
Where should be the focus point? Where, yeah.
In a
Should
picture?
you focus at, yeah. Should it be at infinity or should it be somewhere? That's what he's, I think.
Again, yeah. So Priyank, it all depends on what you're going to take picture. Mainly, this thing metering will be matrix. That's no problem at all. So most of the time, since you're using wide angle, it can be at infinity. But if you want to zoom in, of course, then you focus wherever you need to. The focal point has to be where you want to. So there are different opportunities here. It's not like it's only landscape, so you have to do only wide angle. So this is one place where you require all kinds of photography you can do. So you have to get used to different, zoom in or zoom out completely as well. And I told you panoramas also. So it gives you an experience of all forms of photography. Street as well, which I find difficult. Yes, Dr. Prashant, I see this one. Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Madam, good evening. Wonderful presentation.
Good evening, Doctor.
Madam, one question for you. If you were to do one more trip next time, what all things that you will be ready with? Like if I want to travel, if I plan my travel to Nepal, what all things all lessons that you have learned in all these trips that you have done, and how do you want to change that, like carrying a lens or some focal what are the lenses that, or what are the settings that you like? Because after getting back from your trip, you must have seen that are spoiled pictures. Now you'll be knowing that these mistakes that usually I should avoid. What are all those things that these points that I want to? Thank you, madam.
Yeah. So basically, I think a lot of few people have gone in for the mirrorless now, be it a bridge camera or a DSLR. So that makes it so much lighter for you to carry. So, you don't have constraints of carrying different lenses. But I strongly recommend that you carry from wide angle to a zoom lens. though I did not do any birds there, but my 500, believe me, I did a lot of pictures with that, because when you go on to one peak, you see the other peak. Sometimes I have seen stupas or Buddha statues, or a monastery on the other part of the peak. So that is where you can zoom in and take. And you need to also carry a light travel tripod. A travel tripod is a must, I feel, because in a lot of places, see, if you want to do this night photography, slow shutters and all that, you require, and tripod has more restriction. So what I would suggest is, don't go very heavy on other stuff that you carry. Food you don't have to carry. Clothes, of course, you wear your warm clothing. Nowadays you get a jacket and layers you can wear, your shirts, whatever. So carry less of those things, but carry your equipment. But you don't need all these, no waterfalls and all that. So don't carry any of those kind of filters, but carry a polarizer. Yes, a polarizer does help, especially, with all those, you have this metallic sculptures which are there. So that does, polarizer does help. And what should I say? I don't know about the mistakes. Well, two camera bodies definitely would help, because one you have a wide angle and the other you have a little bit of a zoom. So, if you are planning to do both, where you get some of those sculptures and when you also want to do a wide angle shots, yes, it can be done. Otherwise, if you have this, the SLRs, the bridge cameras, from 24 to, I think you have to 600 or something, that one camera will cover everything. That's about it. And even if you visit Chitwan, like I told you, you don't see any animals except for the rhino. So you don't have to.
Your picture with the flying pigeons is second or third picture in the presentation. Fantastic. Thanks. It's going to stay
Yeah.
with me for a long time.
Yeah, plenty of, those people come and feed the pigeons. So what happens? The pigeons keep flying from one side to the other side. So you will get plenty of those opportunities in that Darbar Square.
Thank you, madam. Wonderful present.
Okay, then that's all the questions that we have.
Okay. Good. We have finished well in time. If there is nothing else, yes, of course. Priyank seems to have just ducked his hand. Anyway, I'm going to lower this thing as well. I think Priyank has a question, something about Bhutan. Who says, so he's planning for Bhutan in October. Okay, we'll need experience. Yes, I have visited Bhutan also. Priyank, I'll do that one-to-one. I'll let you know about photography in Bhutan as well. Sure. Yeah, I guess that's about it. So thanks to everyone for having connected. And thank you to the moderators as well, Anita and Hardik again, and Vikas for the back-end support as always. And I'm happy to have done this. I hope we'll all be able to go to Nepal together and then, enjoy the mountains. All the mountain people, keep your dates for Nepal. Thank you. Thank you for all your emojis as well. I'm really humbled. Yeah. All right. So I'll stop the recording also.